Did Evelyn Lieberman, the former deputy chief of staff, or any other White House staffers, Mrs. Clinton, ever come to you and say, we may have a problem with one of the interns at the White House, and mention Monica Lewinsky by name?
No, that never happened.
So these charges came as big a shock to you as anyone?
And to my husband. I mean, he woke me up Wednesday morning and said, you're not going to believe this, but, and I said, what is this? And so, yeah, it came as a very big surprise.
When he said, but what?
But I want to tell you what's in the newspapers. Yeah.
I think the part of this that makes certain people across the country uneasy is that we have a 21-year-old intern at the White House who moves to the Pentagon, who then gets a job interview at the UN with Bill Richardson himself. And then a very dear friend of your husband's, Vernon Jordan, recommends her for 2 jobs in this city here in New York, and then drives her personally to a lawyer's office when she's subpoenaed by Kenneth Starr. Does it not appear, though, that this intern had more clout in Washington than most others do?
I don't know the circumstances of any of that, Matt. It's just a very unfortunate turn of events that we are using the criminal justice system to try to achieve political ends in this country.
The last time we visited a subject like this involving your family was 1992, and the name Jennifer Flowers was in the news. And you said at that time in an interview, a very famous quote, "I'm not some Tammy Wynette standing by my man." In the same interview, your husband admitted that he had, quote, caused pain in your marriage. 6 years later, you are still standing by this man, your husband, through some difficult charges. If he were to be asked today, Mrs. Clinton, do you think he would admit that he again has caused pain in this marriage?
No, absolutely not. And he shouldn't.
Let me talk about your role. There have been reports that you've taken charge at the White House and decided to be the chief defender of your husband, of the president, and deflect these charges. How much of a role are you taking in this? Do you think you should take?
Well, I certainly am going to defend my husband, and I'm certainly going to offer advice, but I am by no means running any kind of strategy or being his chief defender. He's got very capable lawyers and very capable people inside the White House and a lot of very good friends outside the White House.
But you're probably the most credible defender of the president at this time.
Well, I probably know him better than anybody alive in the world, so I would hope that I'd be the most credible defender. But I do believe that this is a battle. I mean, look at the very people who are involved in this. They have popped up in other settings. This is the great story here for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it, is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president. A few journalists have kind of caught on to it and explained it, but it has not yet been fully revealed to the American public. And actually, in a bizarre sort of way, this may do it.
Let me take you and your husband out of this for a second. Bill and Hillary Clinton aren't involved in this story. If an American president had an adulterous liaison in the White House and lied to cover it up, should the American people ask for his resignation?
Well, they should certainly be concerned about it.
Should they ask for his resignation?
Well, I think that if all that were proven true, I think that would be a very serious offense. That is not going to be proven true. I think we're going to find some other things. And I think that when all of this is put into context and we really look at the people involved here, look at their motivations, look at their backgrounds, look at their past behavior, some folks are going to have a lot to answer for. I think we're going to find some other things. And I think that when all of this is put into context and we really look at the people involved here, look at their motivations, look at their backgrounds, look at their past behavior, some folks are going to have a lot to answer for.